guys, welcome back to my channel where I like to educate and inspire photographers like yourselves to create their own successful photography businesses. So today I want to share with you something that is so crucial and so important in my every single day as a wedding and lifestyle photographer, and that is workflows. So let me start by sharing a little bit about myself. I am a wedding and lifestyle photographer based in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. I used to work for a marketing company at a radio station. So I used to have a full-time 9-to-5 marketing job. I decided to take my business full-time in January of 2020. And within that, I learned so much. One of those things is how to have a successful workflow. Now, when I used to work in the corporate world, I would go to work on Monday morning and I would have my day laid out for me. My boss would pretty much tell me when the due dates are and what I needed to do, and it was all kind of mapped out for me. I would leave work at work, I would come home, I'd do my home life, and then I would show up back at work the next morning, and all was well in the world. When I started my own business, I found it really challenging to find a similar workflow where I wasn't constantly thinking about work and where I wasn't dropping tasks or missing things or feeling overwhelmed with all the things that I wanted to do or had to do in my business. So I really knew that I needed a system in place that would help me with all of those things and help me to feel successful at the end of my workday. That is when I decided I needed to come up with my workday workflow. Within this workflow, what you'll find is tips and tricks and tools that I use every single day in my business that help me to either leave work at work or to organize my workday before it starts so that every single day is productive and I'm getting things done off of my to-do list and meeting my deadlines as I go. So why might you need a workday workflow? Well, maybe you struggle like me with procrastination. Maybe you're struggling with meeting deadlines for clients. Maybe you're just feeling this overwhelming editing workload list and you need help finding ways to fit it into your schedule. Either way, I think having a workflow is going to be great. Now, not everything that I do will work for you, but I hope that you can find these tools and take what works and apply it to your own business. So first things first, you need to figure out what makes you feel organized. For me, it is things like planners and paper and office supplies. I have everything. I love organization. I wouldn't say I am the most organized person. I really do set aside time to help make myself organized. It doesn't come naturally to me, but I love all the tools that I can find to help me in that area. Figuring out how you learn best and what makes you excited to plan your workday is going to be key as we go over these next tips. So one thing that I do in my business is use a weekly or monthly planner. So this planner specifically is called the Legend Planner. I got it off Amazon. I get one new every single year. It's my little gift to me. And so I will link that down below if you are interested in this one here. But one of the reasons why I love it so much is it does give me all kinds of goal planning for my business as well. This planner is really awesome in just mapping out where you'd like to see yourself go this year. And then the next part is a weekly and hourly view. Now, the reason I say hourly view is so important is because this will help you map out the hours of your day in your workflow. So having a weekly view, a monthly view, and an hourly view is really going to help you in terms of setting up your daily workflow to ensure that you are getting the tasks done that need to be done. So weekly, monthly, hourly, yearly planner, definitely a must in my workflow. I usually keep this on my desk. I don't really take this with me everywhere I go. I use my phone for that. Okay, so the next thing I have is notebooks. Now, a quirky thing about me that not a lot of people know is that I love paper. I love the smell of paper. I love shopping for paper. I love notebooks. I love everything to do with office supplies and paper. So I have a different color-coded notebook system. One of these notebooks is for my daily to-do list, my tasks, and things that need to get done in my daily business. One of them is for content creation ideas, what I want to write on the blog, what I want to post on Instagram, things like that. Another one is actually specifically for YouTube. And then I have another one for personal things. So you can never have too many notebooks. A part of my system that I use in my workflow is called my daily brain dump. What that is, any information that is floating around in my mind, I need to put on paper. I can't sleep at night if it's just sitting there and I'm thinking that it's gonna get missed. I get anxiety sometimes if there's just too much on the go. I need to visually see that there's actually not that much overwhelming going on in my life. So what I do is I sit down and I write down every single thing. So that could be things like make sure that I edit that gallery, make sure I go to the store and pick up those notebooks, so whatever is on your to-do list, big or small, if it's floating around in your mind and it's something that you need to do, write it on the big list. From this list, from this task, from this brain dump that is literally no form of organization other than to just clear my mind, I then take a sticky note every single day. And on that sticky note, I will take the things off this to-do list that I feel are accomplishable that day. So I'm not looking at the whole list as a whole. I'm only looking at what is manageable in that portion of the day. This system has helped me so much. I probably use this specific system more than any other system in my workflow process because A, it helps me clear my mind, but B, it also helps me organize my day with a very simple, manageable to-do list. So if you're not doing brain dumping, give it a try. I promise you will feel better. Another thing that I use every single day in my business is the Notes app on my iPhone. And this is more for just on the go. So if I'm, shopping in the grocery store and all of a sudden something comes to my mind that I have to do for my business, or something comes to my mind that I want to create on YouTube or Pinterest or Instagram or anything like that, or I have this amazing mini session idea and I need to write it down right away, that goes in my notepad on my phone because I'm not bringing this and my weekly planner with me everywhere I go, but I am bringing my phone everywhere I go. So having a specific system on your phone where you are constantly able to just update on the go, and then you can transfer those ideas into your notepads when you get home, is definitely something that I use every day. Another program I use is called Trello, and I'm actually going to take you guys to my laptop screen so that I can just give you a little overview of what that is. So I want to go over with you guys a program I use often called Trello. Now, this works great for the portion of my workflow where I have a new client or specific steps within my business. So an engagement session, a family session, a wedding, things like that, where there's steps that need to be done that are the exact same for each client that I want to make sure don't get missed in any way. So let's say, for example, I'm prepping for a client's engagement session. Within Trello, you can create these boards. Okay, so I have a board called Workflow Templates. I have one called Coming Up, In Progress, and Done. So for my workflow templates, these are basically what I have created. They're workflows that I've put in place that happen the exact same for every single engagement session, family session, and wedding that happens. So let's say, for example, I have an engagement session coming up. I would copy this template that I've already made, and I would put the client's name in here. So let's just say it's Hannah and Greg. And I would create this new card. So then within this card, I would then move this engagement session to Coming Up. And then once the session is in progress, I would move it to this session here. So within this card here, I have all of these steps that need to be done for this client's engagement session. And this goes for every single client I do an engagement session with. And the reason I have it laid out this way is so that nothing gets missed with any client. So I don't forget to back up the photos. I don't forget to blog the session. I don't forget to send them their mini album after their session and add their photos to my favorites folder. Nothing in a client's progress will get missed. So Trello is really great for keeping each different session and wedding that I do and making sure that I have all of the tasks completed for those specific sessions. So I also use Trello for my monthly behind the scenes things in my business. So when I need to do my finances, I need to know what receipts need to be printed. So that helps me come tax season to make sure that everything is organized and I'm not like frantically running around in January trying to get all of that done when I have other things I should be doing. So I set aside a day every month called a monthly duty day. And within this monthly duty day, I go through my checklist, I print off my receipts, I go through upcoming questionnaires, I schedule my financial days, my work hours, things like that. So Trello is a really great program if you are someone who is a digital planner and likes to just have everything open on their computer screen to organize their day. I am the type of person who I need both. I need a pen and paper list, and I also need an online list. And the reason I like using Trello for my online workflows is because I don't necessarily need to write out for each client in my notebook what the wedding process is. I pretty much know off the top of my head, but it is good to have an area where I can reflect that is the exact same for every single workflow that I have to do for each client. So this program is really great. There's different areas that you can use in it. So I obviously use it for my client workflows, but I also use it for content creation. So anytime I want to write a blog, so for example, I would have sort of like a brief write-up or a YouTube video. I would write out sort of my script of the things that I want to say, just so that I can keep myself organized during my content as well. If I come up with ideas for reels, I can have an ongoing list of what that might look like. So I do use Trello for different things. There is a paid version of it. I actually only use the free version. I find it really helpful. I've never felt like I needed more than what the free version offers, but it's definitely something that I couldn't do without in my workflow. So that's definitely something that I would recommend looking into if you are an online workflow type person. Okay, so now that you know all the tools that I use to implement my workflow, now I'm gonna go over the specific details of my day so that you can have and use and steal my exact workday workflow. So when I get up in the morning, me and my husband always sit and we have Bible reading time. So that's about 6 a.m. Our kids don't get up and start getting ready till 7. So we have about an hour of our day that we just spend quietly. We have coffee, we read our Bibles, and that just kind of sets my tone for the day. Once 7 a.m. hits, I get my kids ready to go to school. I pack their lunches, all that stuff, send them out the door because my husband actually works a job out of the house. He's able to drop the kids off at school, which is perfect for me because that means that my day starts right at 8 a.m. every single day without pause. So once the doors close, I sit on the couch, I grab my second cup of coffee, and I start on my to-do list for the day. I take my big brain dump list and a sticky note and I write down what I feel is manageable to get done in that workday. This can be things like updating the blog, editing a session, calling a wedding, whatever it might be that you need to get done. I know that my workday hours are about 8 until 4 p.m. When all the kids come home again. So I try to plan my day within those hours. So once I have my list figured out on my sticky note for the day, this usually takes me probably about like 15 to 20 minutes. I try not to take it too long, but I do like to finish my last cup of coffee. Sometimes I might scroll a little bit on Instagram, but once that coffee is done, I take my list and I head to my office. So once I sit down at my desk, I open up my laptop, turn everything on, I open up the tabs that I typically use on a daily basis. So my emails, Trello, Honeybook, any programs that I use on my laptop, I open those up. Now, every single workday, I begin with emails. That I spend 10 to 15 minutes replying to client requests, replying to any emails that need my attention. Some days I don't have any. So next on my to-do list will be to review my weekly planner. So this is a part that you can also do while you're creating your to-do list for the day. I tend to do it once I'm sitting in my office because I really just don't like this to ever leave my office. So with this part, what I do is I go to my weekly, hourly section and I make sure that I am filling out the hourly portions of my day. This really just helps me to map out my day in terms of how long each task is gonna take, and that way I make sure that I'm starting my day on task and I have enough hours in the day to do each of those tasks. So obviously the next clear step will be to start working through your to-do list. Start looking at your hours on your weekly, hourly planner and make sure that you are starting to check off those tasks. Try not to get distracted, even if it's a task that you're like, I don't really feel like doing that today. Just try and knock it off the list because it will be a task that you do have to do. And so just pushing through and making sure you get that done. Being able to see how long that task is going to take, I actually find really helpful because on those tasks that I'm really dreading, I know I can look at and say, well, it's only for the next 30 minutes or something like that. Once your to-do list is done, once your alarm goes off saying the end of the day is near, I usually set my alarm for about 30 to 40 minutes before I actually want to be done work, because then that leaves me time to go into my end of the day workflow. So I put together the end of the day workflow because I just found that I always just kept going back to work, or I just kept trying to sneak in. I'll just edit a few more photos or whatever it might be, and I really just needed something that told my brain end of the day. So what I do is I start by updating my weekly planner. I start by putting in any tasks that I didn't get done. I might start transferring them over to the next day. So if you finished all of your tasks for the day, however, you don't really have to add anything. That's awesome. I would still review your weekly planner to see if there's any appointments or anything that needs to be done or brought to your attention for the end of the day. So once you've transferred over all of your tasks that you need to do, the next thing will be to do a final email check. Now, some people prefer to just check their emails once a day. I like to do it at the beginning and the end of my day. I am very busy. I work 2 jobs. I run a full-time photography business. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. My email account is very busy, so I tend to set aside some time in the morning and in the end of my day to make sure that I am responding to client requests and things like that. I like to be pretty on top of my email. One thing that I hear from my clients often is how quick I am at replying to their inquiries and requests, and that is just something that I love to be able to do for my clients. So checking my emails twice a day is important for me. So I do a final email check. Usually there's nothing, but I also close my email tab for the whole day so that it's not a distraction. So I do often have some final things that I need to look at the end of the day as well. So once I've done my final email check, I will close all the tabs on my computer and I will turn my computer off. I say this because I often found that if my computer is just kind of left open or it still has that ability that I can just run and quickly do something on it, I will. So I decided that if I have to wait for my computer to turn on, I feel like it's a lot less chance that I'm going to run back to do some tiny little things on my laptop if it's still on. I also turn off my email notifications for work on my phone because if I have something that pops up or comes in the evening, I actually will run and just deal with that really quick. And I like to be fully attentive for my family, so I try to turn those notifications off because I know I'll revisit them in the morning, and I think it's okay to do that. If you are a brand new photographer, you might want to leave them on. If you get an inquiry, sometimes it's good to jump on that right away. I'm just at a point in my business where I just don't need to respond from the hours of 5 to 10 p.m. or 3 o'clock in the morning. People can wait till I'm back in the office responding to emails at 9 a.m. So once my computer's turned off, I also make sure to clean my desk area. I clean up my office. I make sure everything feels really nice and organized so that when I come in the next day, I'm not worried about moving things around on my desk or cleaning something up that was left there yesterday. I can get right into my daily tasks starting the next day. So this is just something that I do at the end of my day to make sure that I am good to start in the morning. The last thing on the end of day to-do list is close your office door. This is so important because if you leave a door open to continue work, you will. It's so important to just close that door to the workday and leave everything else for tomorrow. This allows you to be fully present and really transition into your home life. So as you can see, it's so important for your sanity, for your business, for your success to have workflows put in place in your business early and that you can stick to. Workflows that will work for you, because not everybody works or feels or flows the same way. If you found any of these tips helpful, I would love to know which ones you're gonna start implementing in your photography business. And I would love if you would give this video a thumbs up and like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will be back in a new video very soon that will have tips and tricks of how to help you in your photography business or how to help you learn your photography craft. Talk to you guys soon.